Ripley live into the room. Let's see if he is ready for this. Here we go. Ripley, good morning. We are live, so yep, glad to see you're fully dressed.
Keep all your discrimination to yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Your usual tirade of swearing upon immediately coming into the room is not required this morning.
Your antipathy for the audience.
There's no text letting us know the room was open, but we can't join without you, so I figured I'd wait.
I find it weird that you were all waiting for that. Ariel and David were already here, so I'd say not to send it.
People love signs, Rick. Don't you know that?
The machine was a self-broken machine this morning. It was all my fault.
You know what they say about people taking initiative? Doesn't happen very
common sense and all that. Anyway, good. Welcome to the show. Please, you could all join us. There we go. Let me get my screen next to me on standby so that we can do this properly. Do join us in the chat this morning if there's anything you particularly want to go over. How do we start this morning? Before we go into our clapage, how are we all?
I'm like a candle burning from both ends.
And I'm one burnt in the middle. David, how's life treating you?
It's treating me well. I can't complain. I'm just tired. But that's okay. We're soldiering on.
Do you think anyone would care if you did complain?
Yes, they would get upset and be like, "Oh, why is this guy complaining? He has nothing to complain about."
Yep. Ripley, any complaints?
Oh, no, it's all relative. I don't have to pay 39% on what I'm trying to, sell. So.
Well, I think we'll deal with
it on what you're buying.
I think we will deal with that of first import this morning, the 39%. We do a bit of clappage in the mornings now. We'll get started. So, welcome everybody. For those that don't understand what's about to happen, we used to do a clapping that only we would hear because we had to sync the sound. We don't have to do that anymore, but we like clapping, so we decided that we'd clap at something every time we record. So you may have come across this story. I will just, shall I show the Reddit version of it? I'm just checking it's safe before I display this. Yes, Reddit. So Tim Cook gifts a, there we go. Oh, that gives you the heebie-jeebies. Tim Cook gives Donald Trump a gift from Apple. I don't know if you saw this the most awkward thing you've ever seen. Where is it? It's disappeared. Oh, there we go. There's Tim Cook.
These guys are not buddies.
No, but he's giving a solid gold. It's Tim Cook unpacking an Apple box. Just the most awkward thing you've ever seen in your life. A little gold bar. Anyway, and this is all to convince Trump to get away from tariffing Apple. Give him some sort of exception. It's just the ultimate crawl. It actually just makes my skin crawl. But there we go. But
why does he close the box again?
Why is the gold thing just the base? Okay, how many presidents could you make out of that if you melted it down and tried to do something meaningful?
Is that Swiss gold?
The Swiss have a lot of rules about gold, as Sylvan has pointed out. So hopefully it's not Swiss gold. It'll be far more expensive than Swiss gold.
That means it's a more impressive gift, right? I spent 39% more on this gold than I needed to, Mr. Trump.
Yeah. Anyway, our clapping for this week is other people have now gotten in the game. This man in particular. This is obviously an entirely genuine photograph, but Mike France from Christopher Ward has gifted Donald Trump a gold Christopher Ward watch. You can see how impressed he is. That is to try and get Christopher Ward into the country minus sans tariff. What do you think? Do you think Mike France meant Donald Trump in jeans? Actually, he probably would do.
I just don't know why someone would do this. It's just so confusing. Why would someone generate this to be like, that's what I want to post?
This is the editorial control I have. Anyway, right, so a clappage to Christopher Ward for their marketing to try and get into into America sans tariff. And yes, of course, it's an AI generated picture. But clap it anyway. Well done. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Those stateside have to clap 39% more than we do here. Since you're importing the clappage from Scotland.
We deserve all this. We deserve riff all you want. We're dumb right now.
Yeah. Apparently, the live stream is accusing one of us of having past wind. If anybody wants to convince, I did not hear it in my headphones.
What?
But
that's just the American political system you're hearing. That wasn't any of our anuses. They make very similar sounds.
Oh, that's a metaphor. I see.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah, we seem to be getting distracted already. This is good. Like this on 5 stars. So 38. Is it 39% tariff? Yeah. What do we think? What do you think difference it's going to make? Then we're going to stop buying watches.
Did you ever play the game SimCity?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you remember how things would be going nice, and the game's like, natural disaster. here's a tornado and a fire.
Natural disaster.
Godzilla. Things.
Roll the dice on stupid.
Yeah, that's what feels like it's going on right now with the watch industry. I don't know if we needed this natural disaster, but it'll destroy some of our residential, commercial, industrial districts, and then maybe rebuild and put that stadium where we wanted it to be.
The industry needed this like a venomous snake bite in the crotch. This is the absolute last thing it needed. This is not good. It's a luxury item. It's not, trying to convince people to buy it is not about need. It's about want. And when people are needing a lot and have very little, it's not a good place for the watches, especially when you have to pay more for them to boot. But I don't, it's like being in fast moving water. We'll see what's true next week. This is just an evolving situation, and I don't think we've gone 2 weeks without some update to it. So we'll see what happens.
Here's the problem. We use the hobby as a distraction from what's going on in the world. Now what's going on in the world is severely invading our hobby. We're like, what the hell?
What's this very little hobby do I have to choose?
Yeah, when we all started into this, watches, at least in America, was about obscure and awesome things it could be. It was one step above being into, what someone compared it to? Adam Carolla. I don't know if you know who that is. One time he said, is that like being into cufflinks? And it was no, it's a lot more interesting than cufflinks. And I think he was trying to be funny, but I realized he just didn't get it, and he was not wearing a wristwatch at the time. But yeah, I thought it was just going to be this funny little thing. Now, all this nonsense, all these optics, do I need to get into even weirder watches to escape all this?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always weirder somewhere that isn't from Switzerland and probably isn't subject to 39% tariffs.
Let's not go crazy. First of all, not all the watches are made in Switzerland. Even the ones made in Switzerland are also made in high tariff countries. But I also think that it's not correct to jump to conclusions about how much this will increase prices. The way the tariffs are applied are beyond complicated. And none of us really know. Certain brands, like Christopher Ward, have apparently just increased their prices by 39%.
I'll show you the Christopher Ward situation just now while you're chatting. Well, actually, I can't because I'm not in America. Look at the cheapness of the Christopher Ward. Much cheapness.
Look, it makes it more exotic. It makes it something you want to get while you're traveling or something like that. I think that's kind of the upside. Look, in America, we have not had these types of high prices before, but in a lot of other countries, they have. China and Brazil are good examples, and people from those countries who and Hungary, they've just known if you want to buy this stuff, you buy it somewhere else and you bring it back with you when you travel. So
for Christopher Ward, where it's largely a direct to consumer, do you just have this shipped to your hotel in London and then fly it back, send it to Rick in Scotland, and
all the watches.
Drive across the border. There's a big Christopher Ward outlet in Toronto or something like that.
You can get your drugs and your Christopher Wards imported from Canada.
I just think that if watches are more exciting to buy, this is good for the hobby. Make it
all right. So we think it's the if it's more like if it's more like importing drugs across the border,
people
then it becomes more exciting.
Look at all the hype around the hype watches. So many more watches can become hype watches now.
I can't imagine it costs that much for me to have a PO box in like Tijuana. This might be something worth
But
exploring.
then you have to
Is there not?
go down.
Is there not a bunch of penguins in the South Atlantic that have also got a tariff? You get a low tariff, get a PO box there. I believe that tariff's not changed.
Where?
No, I think they have a tariff. Why do you have a tariff on the penguins at all?
No, but I think they reduced the tariff. I don't think they raised it in the next state, so I think the tariff is still 10% or something for the wee. The reality is that the UK is now one of the lowest tariff countries in the world, I think,
Yeah,
for
but
general
you guys
products.
can't have a
So
functional knife. Like,
ship them up.
Like
You
they
also need
can't
a functional
Shut your
airport
watches.
for people to come in on.
Yeah.
We have
Why is-
airports.
Heathrow is not an airport. It is
No,
just routinized congestion.
Yeah, but have you been to Chicago here recently?
Yeah,
It's hardly any better. Charles de Gaulle. What is the worst? Come on, you're all well travelled.
I've
Worst
not been
airport in the
defending
world.
Paris's airport. You
Montreal.
will not.
Montreal is the worst. I've spent
No,
26
Paris.
hours. Paris has been fine. I've spent 26 hours locked in the Montreal airport. It's absolutely the worst.
That does
Okay, in
sound
the
awful.
chat, worst airports in the world to spend time in. David, worst airport in the world to spend time in? I'm not going to ask
allowed
you,
to
Leon.
say.
You're not allowed to say it.
It's in a country where if you have a bad
Wait.
opinion, and now this could mean Russia, this could mean the USA, this could
Switzerland.
mean other places in the world. So it's
That's right.
it's somewhere behind the newfound iron curtains of the
All right,
world.
okay.
David means LaGuardia. That's exactly what he's talking
That's right.
about.
The customs. And I said, did you say bad things about us in a podcast? Stay out. There we go.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. So, any sign, like anybody hearing any chat from any of the watch brands? Anyone going to do anything dramatic like Tudor? Just not sell in America. Just decide. Let's not do this anymore until this is sorted out. Because we can. I mean, Rolex could sell all of their watches and not sell any America. They still sell everything they make.
Maybe.
Might need to sell a little bit of discount, but yeah, return to the good old days. Do you think there's any brands that we go? Deli gets a nomination in the airport hit list.
It's highly likely that if these tariffs persist longer than about 12 months, brands will just pull out of America. That is highly likely. It's difficult to determine who, but it's happened in the past. It's happened in other countries. Brands don't have that big of a foothold here. It would just be sending watches here. Most of them don't have offices or anything like that. It would even the big brands. They sometimes have like 3 people here, right? Like it's not that big of a deal for them just to leave shop. I think that if they feel consumers are buying their products in other countries, they might completely abandon the country. They might even stop marketing. That's the worst thing. If they stop selling in America, that's one thing, but they shouldn't stop marketing because Americans are going to buy elsewhere. So as long as they continue to market, I think they'll be okay because again, people are traveling a lot. And we've seen that these destinations to buy watches that you can only get there, that could be good for the hobby. That could be a good shit for a brand. You know, you can only buy us in the city. That could be fun.
Well, that's kind of the allure of Certina in the U.S. They're so few and far between as far as U.S. Points of sale, but they make really cool watches. But they're in Swatch Corp. It seems like a brand that you would expect to see on the level of like a Tissot or something. Yet you don't unless you're in an airport. And I think that's kind of the cool thing now that you're seeing more of them, but it's still usually among enthusiasts. But I think Ariel's right. There is a certain interestingness when it's something you can't get in the domestic market. Think of like cars, the obsession in the US with JDM cars. It's still very much alive today. And some of that has to do with the fact that the Japanese seem to keep the coolest versions for themselves. But a part of that allure is the simple fact like the R34 was just not in the US. So basically anyone who has one here had to get it imported. And that not only alludes to the coolness of the car, but also just the kind of social gatekeeping involved with it of it's just harder to get. You couldn't just go out and buy it.
A big impact on the Japanese. Grand Seiko sees the opportunity. Less tariff from there.
They preemptively raise prices. They're fine. They don't need to do a thing.
I don't think that the price issue is going to be big for Japan. Japan often takes a number of years to create a strategy, to deploy it, to figure things out. It's not exactly a place that is known for its agility and business decisions. I feel that the brands believe that the tariffs are short-lived. That may or may not be true. I think that there's an argument to be made that they are probably going to be short-lived. We don't know if a subsequent administration is going to like this. It's very unclear. So I think that there's going to be a wait and hold pattern for a lot of companies that are traditionally a little bit more conservative in their approach or take time to develop things. I think this is a moving target, and I think that's a problem. These companies don't like making decisions when the market is not stable.
A Swiss brand that's going to be the first one to not sell, pull out of America. Any guesses? Zenith. Don't make that many watches anyway. Panerai. It's called the same watch. You can just keep importing the same one over and over again.
I think they'll still have. I mean, look, I've visited countries that have high, VATs, for example, and it's known that like not a lot of people buy the watches there, but there's still stores and stuff like that. I think a lot of it is showrooming, branding. I don't think that it's too terribly difficult to bring in product and just have it sit in stores, and they feel like, well, maybe those people will go buy in the store in Paris when they're traveling or something like that. So there's an argument to be made there. What we have to determine is the micro brands, and it's quite complicated. Again, a lot of them use Chinese parts that have a near Switzerland tariff right now. Many of them have very low margins. And they do it because it's supposed to be sort of a fun hobby job. If it becomes impossible to produce at a competitive price, then they'll have to go, because it's not like they're investing in marketing. Really what they got is sort of a fun watch at a good price. If that's not their value proposition anymore, they're not going to offer the consumer anything.
It will be interesting to see how quickly it plays out. Do you think there's any possibility that this actually is more like that this helps some brands that are actually struggling, or is it only just going to make more money for those brands that can sell all of their inventory no matter how much they put into the States, e.g. Rolex, Patek, presumably AP? Is it genuinely going to make any brands, you think, more desirable because the price is suddenly going to go up, or the price is going to go up, although it's badged as Swiss made, not quite as proportionately perhaps as it should, because it's not maybe quite as Swiss made as everybody thinks it is? But Joe Schmo, Jane Schmo in the street won't recognise that. They'll just suddenly see this watch seems... Right, so maybe we'll get up 10% rather than, this is wholesale prices, rather than 39%.
Well, what I think is funny is also asking, will Swiss brands say, should we be assembled elsewhere? Like, will Swiss brands still have, monetary interest in Switzerland, but then go be, I don't know, a French brand or a German brand or an English brand because there's lower tariffs? If it goes on long enough, and there's a detriment to being a Swiss-made watch from a price perspective, I wonder how many will simply stop being Swiss-made.
I mean, Moser haven't put Swiss-made on their watches for a while, I don't think. So do they suddenly go, oh, actually, we don't need to do this anymore. So just
I don't think they have anything on their dial.
Well, that's true. Our markers would be a start. Effectively, this is the USA bringing in, I mean, to most other countries in the world, the idea that you have a value-added tax on things is not a shocker, and that's effectively what this is. The only issue is you can't claim it back when you leave the country. Do you think that it would be advantageous? Because I don't know how many watches are bought in the States by foreign tourists coming to the States to buy the watches. Certainly when I've been in the States, if I wanted to, then some of the watches that were available at the time would have been cheaper than buying them back home, especially if you can stick them in your hand luggage and possibly not necessarily declare them when you went back in the country. Not that I ever did that, because I only own one watch. It's Panerai second hand. But you can't do that if it's a duty. You can't get it back. So how are you aware of just what the volume of watches sold to foreign tourists is in the States?
I don't know. And again, I think that's one of the primary differences between something like a VAT and a tariff. A VAT is applied at the time of sale. And as you said, it's supposed to apply to people who live there and can be reimbursed. A tariff is applied when the good comes into the country. So it really doesn't matter what happens to it afterwards. It's really about where you bought it, which matters. And I think that's also important for people that are planning on buying watches in other countries and bringing them back to the United States. I could be wrong about how it's all applied, but my understanding is, nobody's going to care when you're bringing stuff in. Whereas if you had to go back to a VAT country, I know China, for example, was big on this. They want you to declare it. They want you to pay taxes on it, even if you purchase it elsewhere. I know that I remember we reported that China had this like 5-time multiplier punishment if you failed to disclose something. So for a watch, that could be enormously expensive. I haven't heard any type of chatter at all about people who purchase luxury goods outside of America coming back in, having to declare, having to pay anything like that. That's probably somewhat of a silver lining. In our recent survey of the Blog to Watch audience, the vast majority of people, even those living in the United States, travel on a regular basis. So it statistically speaking, people who like watches tend to be more well-traveled and will have at least one opportunity every year or every several years to leave their country, if it's here in the United States, go to someplace else and purchase a watch, at potentially lower price. And I think what's also important is to ask, where will those havens be? It's so funny because America has been a target for people trying to come here to shop for lower prices. Now Americans will have to leave America. Where will those destinations be? I think that's a very interesting question. What tourist destinations or shopping destinations say we want to be set up for people that want to buy things here that would cost a lot more in the United States? Hong Kong is a great example. Probably a bit far for most Americans.
Glasgow, baby.
Hey, maybe it'll be Canada, parts of Mexico, the Caribbean again. I mean, these are all destinations are nearby. It'll be interesting to see how the watch world adapts around this, because that's really what's going to be an adaptation.
Okay, David has disappeared. He's rebooting his machine, so he will be back joining us in a second. We hope.
You heard that he made that statement about Hungary, and boom, he's gone.
That's right. He was about to nominate the airport he hated the most.
So
all went wrong. Right, here's our first article. Wait a minute, I've discovered the worst kind of collector. This is Mike's Wait a Minute rant this week. This is basically about boring watch collections. So, in the too long didn't read, I would like us to be starting to think about what is the most generic 5-watch collection you can think of. So you can start thinking about that while you give us your thoughts on this article, Ripley.
Royal Oak Jumbo, Patek Philippe Nautilus, Rolex Submariner, Rolex Daytona, and Omega Speedmaster, all in stainless steel.
All in stainless steel. So go for that again. A Royal Oak.
So Jumbo Royal Oak, standard time and date Nautilus.
Yeah.
Both steel Submariner date, Speedmaster Moonwatch, steel, black dial. And oh god, what was the other one I said? It's so forgettable. We could swap anyone out with this one. And keep in mind, I own multiple of these watches, so like, I've got a black sub, I've got a Speedmaster, but.
So, are you one of the worst kind of watch collectors?
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a collector, and I didn't pay what these watches are worth. I've collected them over the course of years and bought them all very cheaply. I mean, I think what Mike's getting at is that there's nothing wrong with these watches themselves. They're objectively great. That's why they're considered like go-to options, icons, safe choices, whatever. But I think what he's getting at in this article is that it's not that these watches are themselves the problem, but it's when people just make the uninformed choice of get these watches because Instagram or social media is telling you to check these boxes. You're not a real collector unless you own a Submariner. It's the blueprint of the modern dive watch, and you just fall victim to that rather than exploring your own tastes. I have a sub, I have a Speedmaster. I don't wear either of them much because I wear other things that I find more interesting. I have them, I like them. I haven't gotten rid of them because they are pretty timeless. At some point, I do pull them out and wear them and enjoy them, but they're not the things I'm necessarily hunting or looking for. And they're certainly not the things that necessarily get me excited unless there's some big technological evolution, like when the 3861 movement was introduced to the Speedmaster. It looks the same as the old Speedmaster, but that's, worth talking about from a technology perspective.
Daytona was your other choice. Ariel.
Yeah.
Daytona, but then you got the Cartier Santos. So do you swap the Santos in for an Ariel 5 most generic watches? the world's worst 5-watch collection?
Well,
What
I
would
have
be
a
in
few
it?
things to say. First of all, I want to say that when you go to this article written by Mike, the comment section is actually several times longer than the article itself. It's, I think about 90 comments now.
Oh,
I
so there is. Good
participate there
grief.
a lot. Yeah, we get quite deep into the psychology of collecting, the business model of watch media. I would actually recommend that in addition to Mike's, again, not super long essay, there's a very robust and in-depth conversation that'll probably be at least 150 comments before it's all over. So go check that out. And when you asked about boring watch collection, you know what came to mind? Like the person who has like an Apple Watch and a Rolex and just swaps them out. That for me is boring. Very decent things, but it's like almost like a waste. It's like, I don't know. It's just no personality right there. It's like pure. It's generic. It's like I got my generic smartwatch. I got my generic luxury watch. I'm happy. Like I have no personality.
So Apple Watch and Panerai is okay.
To save your ego, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You distinctive man, you.
Oh dear. But what watches Ripley missed out in the generic list, Ariel? We've got Jumbo Royal Oak, Nautilus, Subdate, Moonwatch, and Daytona.
I'm a little bit upset at the person who I don't know the right word to say. Maybe is too scared to go beyond Seiko. We all love Seiko, but there's that guy out there who's like afraid to go past it and just like continues to just wear Seiko. And it's like, they're great watches, but branch out a little bit. So if you're just wearing like, I don't know, what is it? The boring one, the Alpinist. Oh God, that's a boring one.
What do you mean? The Alpinist is awesome. That is way more personality than the 62 Moss.
Well, that's true. But there's a long list of boring ones. There's some awesome Seiko. Again, I love Seiko, but you guys know my taste. I like the like super insane weird stuff they've done, and I adore that stuff. I really, really do. But Seiko also is guilty of making some incredibly mainstream watches. Not guilty, but like I it's like the watch collector busts out with like his Timex Iron Man. Is with like, this is really worthy of collecting. Like, no, it's not. Like as much as I appreciate the Iron Man for all that it's done, it is not something you should choose to wear if you have other options.
Okay, so your own watch collections in mind. Give me the 5 most outlandish watches. If you had to keep the 5 watches that were just the least run-of-the-mill, what would be in that collection of your own vast collection of watches?
You can't ask Ariel that. You're going to end up with things,
choices.
Nixie tubes, 10,000 meters of water resistance, hinges in places you don't understand. It's going to be a whole
I could choose 5 Russian-made watches that would blow your mind, okay? Weird stuff.
That's the article we want.
It's personal, you know?
5 Russian watches to blow your mind.
There's just, I mean, again, I too bad about other things, but Russian watch culture has always utterly delighted me in so many ways. I love their watch collectors. I love the watches they make, even in the periphery. The stuff that comes from Ukraine, even there's Ukrainian watchmakers, incredible stuff out there. What was the question? The opposite of boring watches?
Yeah, so you've got to rescue your 5 most outlandish watches, the 5 least generic watches in your collection. What 5 watches are you rescuing? Right, give me the opposite article to the one that Mike has written on this is the most eclectic collection you've ever seen.
Look, I like people who have spent years looking at a large number of watches and are generally aware of the category and knows what's out there. And then based upon that, finds highly individual things with the emphasis of you probably haven't seen one of these or no one else is going to wear one of these. I think the less often I see a watch, the happier it makes me. And when someone chooses a watch that is uncommon, what that says to me is they chose something that really matches their personality or gives them a very distinct feeling that they like. And that's what I want to see. I want to see people choosing the uncommon stuff because I think common is what I'm trying to stay away from in my interest in timepieces.
Okay. David, welcome back to the show from your Hungarian internet outage.
Actually, it was my computer, but...
All right, okay. 5 most generic watches that would make up the most generic watch collection.
Okay. Submariner. Some sort of G-Shock.
Oh, G-Shock, interesting.
A dressy Longines, something. I have to say two more. Something from
an overly
Ward.
thick dressy Longines.
Yes. And maybe a Black Bay from Tudor. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
or
Tudor.
Something from Psycho, I should have said, because we already put in a Submariner, so let's replace that with an SKX or something from Psycho.
Yeah, I think Tudor has to get a mention in this as being just feels increasingly generic as a watch brand. I don't know if it's just I don't know.
But they have a section on their website called Daring Watches.
Maybe that's the sign that when you're saying you're daring, that's exactly the time when you've just lost all sense of adventure.
They were born to dare. Remember the slogan?
Oh,
they were
born to dare. They didn't actually do it. So they were born with a daring silver spoon in their mouth, but never attained the heights of daringness.
Other brands merely adopted the daring. They were born into it, molded by it.
So most watches are assembled. Theirs are hatched from an egg or something? Is that where Tudors come from?
Yes, exactly.
Apparently.
A 1950s aquatic egg. Apparently, that's what all of them are born.
What about engineered to dare? Get all really confusing.
Daring engineering.
I dare you if the math works.
Yeah. So Tudor Breitling hasn't got a mention. Is a Navitimer the ultimate generic. In not generic?
Not really.
The ultimate, and I've never phoned a plane.
No, it's seen everywhere, but when you see someone with a Navitimer, it's a little bit more of a personal choice. They clearly looked at like a Daytona, a Speedmaster, and said, not enough hands and numbers. I want like 10 times this many. Yes, that's perfect. What does this do? And the guy starts explaining a slide rule. He says, no, stop right there. I'll just take it. And like it says something more about the person, and I respect that. I never look at a Navitimer owner and think that the guy doesn't like his watch, whereas half of the Submariner owners out there, and I say this as a Submariner owner, don't know that their watch is called a Submariner, and that's wild to me since it says the name on the dial.
Bored to dare is the new slogan being suggested for Tudor in the chat. I like this. I think Chives and ChatGPT is going to be asked to produce an advert for that one while we speak.
Do you want to rename the Black Bay the Boring Bay?
The Boring Bay, bored Bay. Any other very generic watch brands that we should feature in this list? No.
I mean, there's.
Are you writing on the 1942 typewriter, Rick? It's so clickety and loud. It's insane.
I do have a very loud keyboard. I feel like lends a sort of authenticity to the show. In the background, there are folk typing away. You know, there's some editorial control in this. It's not just made up as go along.
We are adding the show to your
advertise using AI all the time.
That's right. There is some manual intervention in this show from time to time.
I do personally talk to AI. There is input.
That's right. And now maybe that's the shit. Maybe we should be just letting AI into Riverside, a recording app, and just let it join the chat. I don't know if we can do that. Let's
like we could.
I can hallucinate for you if you want.
We should
for that.
I have been very upset with ChatGPT lately, and I yell at it. And now, now its personality has changed with the new ChatGPT 5. It's not as polite anymore. It's very snarky.
You need to go and download Chives the Watch Butler GPT. Go to ChatGPT and search for Chives the Watch Butler, and you can have.
You have to show me how to do this, Rick. I'm
not actually sure how to do it, but I believe it can be done.
You literally just told me.
Just because I believe a thing doesn't mean I know how to do it.
You go to this website and you do something. You go to
ChatGPT. Right, let's pick up on some of last week's show. Ariel, you gave us our what you like categories last week, which was cartoon characters.
Oh boy.
So this week, first up, we have the Care Bears. Let's go to carebearhub.com. To see Care Bears. So what were you thinking? Now, so there's the Care Bears. So I'm not sure what you feel inspires to be like Care Bears. I'm open to suggest. I have a suggestion, but I'm open to your suggestions also.
I got one. I got those colorful Norcane Wild Ones.
Okay, yeah, like that.
Hublot ceramics. They're every color of the rainbow, and they kind of look tough, but clearly not. Like that yellow one's throwing a punch, but no one's threatened by it.
Maybe Baby G.
Oh yeah, Baby G. That's a good
Baby
one.
G.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I didn't realize Care Bears were violent, but this does appear to be quite violent. There's definitely a punch being thrown there.
This is the new, more aggressive. We fight against injustice. I don't know what to do.
Don't Care Bears.
Post-COVID voters.
And then don't Care Bears. Flick Flack being suggested. I wondered about this particular watch as being a Care Bear watch. Which was the $1 million Richard Mille. I thought this was quite a care-bearing watch from Richard
Not cuddly enough. Not cuddly
enough. Well, I think it reflects a new aggressive stance of Care
Have you
Bears.
ever seen Care Bears?
What about the Bonbon collection from RM, where it was like the?
I did think of that as well.
No, that's Candyland.
Oh, you're definitely Candyland.
Candyland. What's Candyland? Is that
It was
cartoon?
a game, a very creepy game. If you win, you got diabetes.
Oh my goodness.
There you go. Flick Flack or Baby G also being suggested. So where are we settling on? I like the Hublot ceramic that clearly would break as soon as it's actually soft. Are there any watches that are actually tactile, like a teddy bear?
Like
watches with a tactile.
Furry? Yeah, 7 Friday
Furry
has
watch.
a 3D printed one, and I don't know what kind of material it is, but it's kind of fuzzy. It's
there have been
fuzzy watch.
There have been mink straps, and I encourage everyone to look at the pillow, which comes with every Seiko Galante watch.
Seiko Galante watch.
No, the Seiko Galante pillow.
Right,
Is it
Scare
also made out
Bears.
of
Yeah.
mink?
It looks that way.
Yeah, if you want to send me a link, we'll display it while we move on.
You're gonna have to just Google that. I've seen pictures.
But if I Google it, David. If I Google it, David will complain because it will make this kind of noise as I do it.
What are those Cherry MX
maybe
Brown
they just
keys?
muted.
But then I can't talk over it at the same time. Breitling Endurance Pro as a Care Bear watch. Did they have some similarity
You're
there?
not sporty
Like that,
enough
chat?
for that.
Not sporty
Energy,
enough.
come on.
Right, okay. Right, so
Breitling.
next, other, where are we? I've got
What
so
other
many
license did I
tabs.
say?
You said Inspector Gadget.
Oh.
So let's get, if you can, Inspector Gadget. Yes, I am typing, deal with the disappointment. So Inspector Gadget, this is him here. Let's go to the IMDb. Inspector Gadget's got an IMDb page. There you go. Who knew? Inspector Gadget TV series 1983 to 2023.
Guess it's coming
Blimey.
back.
Is it back, is it? So most gadgety watch, I assume that's what we're going for. The most
There's other
gadgety
ways.
watch.
What
There's
about?
Yeah.
other ways to interpret it. I think Inspector Gadget was a human who something happened to him, and he got a lot of his human parts replaced with robot parts and became a human equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. So you could
Is that
interpret
right?
this as like a mechanical watch that had some of its components gutted out and turned with quartz. This could be a spring drive, a kinetic, that Resonance E-crown thing. There's ways to interpret that in that spirit. Or this literal Swiss Army knife of a watch, which is that like Richard Mille adventure thing with the purification tablets.
Or
That's
the
what I was
actual
thinking.
knives from Swiss Army.
That's
Or
what
I'm
I
sorry,
went.
actual watches. The actual watches from Swiss Army.
The knife-themed watch they make with the...
You remember they had the one with the lights in it and stuff like that? You know what I'm
the
seeing
light.
visually? I'm seeing the MB&F HM5.
Okay. Well, I went to the
drivers,
Richard
the
Mille
original- The original
RM25.
drivers-
the-
Oh yes, the beauty. I love
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the Time Hunter. I could see the Urwerk Time Hunter being one as well, where it's
An Urwerk.
the
sure.
Time Hunter specifically, where it's a mechanical watch, but it's got its own time grapher built in it, so it's this hybrid cyborg thing that is super technical, but very modern.
You remember their like horizontally long watch? I forgot what it's called. The one that was inspired by like the Volvo dashboard,
Yeah,
an early one, or the HYT when they made that horizontal watch as well,
Yep.
which I've never
I-
seen in the real world.
I like the idea of this from Chrono 30, or whatever we're calling it, the Zenith
Oh, the
Doublematic.
Doublematic. So he's
That's a
classy now to
very
you.
Inspector
You saw the
Gadget watch.
top hat. You got the wrong idea, Rick.
I would. If I
fedora.
could find a decent one of these that was reliable, I might wear this instead of my Panerai. I love
That
this
is a
watch.
cool watch. I remember when this came out, and I think we should all cheer for Rick to have something other than just a Panerai.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think maybe when I finish building my house and I get the VAT money back from building it, I think maybe we should put a sum aside and let the audience vote. What would happen? Like last time in the UK, when you let the audience vote on things, it always ends up coming back as Boaty McBoatface. I don't know if you're aware of that story, or things of a similar nature. I'm not sure what would happen if I put £10,000 on the table and said, "Dear audience, you choose what I'm buying."
Solid
I'm
gold
not sure.
U-boat. That
Boaty
is exactly-
McBoat watch. Did you say solid gold U-boat?
Yep.
Yeah.
What if it's the
okay.
exact same watch, or like they vote on the exact same model Panerai? Then you just have two of them.
That's right, just have two of them. 2 8-day GMT Panerais. Right, which one will I wear today?
What would be the worst for Scottish weather? Like a vintage minute repeater that's not even water resistant?
Well, it'd probably be a
something that
Panerai.
So
A Dewey.
so badly built, just wind blows through it. You know, that no gaskets, nothing.
Are there any watches other than watches that are used for the blind? Are there any watches that actually don't have a crystal or something
Yes.
on front of them deliberately?
Yeah, there are a few.
So something like that probably wouldn't last very long.
So
over
wait a
here.
minute, you don't have enough opinions about what watch you'd want to buy. You need to outsource that to the community.
Oh, I have
or
plenty
AI?
of opinions. But that's the problem. I have too many opinions.
He likes
Therefore,
the
I need some
Panerai
assistance.
Luminor 8 days. He likes the Panerai Luminor Due. He likes the Panerai
Panerai
Luminor
5
Marina.
days.
Yeah, Panerai
yeah.
Luminor Equation of
Do you-
Time.
maybe a different color dial.
Equation of time. Equation of time. I get an equation of time. Just for the most pointless complication.
It is.
Just I would
Utterly
just know.
pointless.
I'd look at the watch and just go, I know what the real time is. It's just, the equation of time is a beast. I think it's a 46mm watch. The equation of time. So it is a bit of a chunker.
You like that? You like that
there we
watch,
go.
don't you?
Drunk.
It's been suggested that a PRX, but from the States with the tariffs added on, would probably be all I could afford.
I don't
In
know
the
if that's
chat,
your style. Is that your style? You're more like a strap guy. You like straps.
Yeah, well, I think I've decided that the thing I bizarrely like is maybe it's just because I'm slow of brain or got bad memory. I like the fact that the Panerai tells you it's a Panerai on the side of the strap. So I think maybe that would need to be the theme. So you can get a Breitling that says Breitling on the side, and
I mean, I can write the name of the brand with a Sharpie on pretty much any strap you want.
Oh, that's fine.
an
We can write other brands.
Yeah,
All the
lots of
brands.
maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe that is the way to do it. Like the Moser
piece.
tribute watch. A co-op is just, you know how when you break your arm and you get the cast, and then people sign your cast.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the future of strap manufacture. That's what I need.
You want me to draw like a little Panerai on your cast?
Well, the Panerai's like got a big strap, so I could probably just keep the Panerai and just get all the other brands put on it. And that would be cheaper as well. So
this went
could
from what other
sell-
watch do you want to? I don't need to get rid of my Panerai, do I?
Yeah, what if you sold sponsorship space on your strap, like an F1 car? The different parts of the strap could have different values associated with it. So you could
I
have a
love that idea.
Yeah, Moser logo near the lugs, and maybe a tag logo on the other side. Start a bidding war about who gets the 12 o'clock versus the 6 o'clock.
Yeah. I love that idea. Do you remember the website? I think it was called Million Pixel, whereby on a screen they put 1,000,000 pixels and then sold off the individual pixels for $1, and the guy made $1 million. I'll Google it as quietly as I can in the background to see if it still
the innocent
exists.
days of the internet.
Well, that's exactly right. It was the innocent days. There we go. $1 million homepage. Let's see if it still exists. It does. There we go. This
Great real
was
estate investment, huh?
Yeah. There we go. The $1 million homepage. He sold each one of the pixels. I'm not going to click on it.
So people bought multiple pixels. They didn't buy individual.
Yes.
I see.
Well, I mean, you could buy an individual pixel. I'm not going to click on any of these links because I have no idea what horribleness
Yeah, how much of
might
it is
exist in the
porn?
background.
99% of it, probably.
which is probably not disproportionate to the to the internet. It's probably the same proportion. But there we go, the $1 million. So I don't think we do that for my Panerai watch strap. I'm up for that. Right. And then our final, done quite well. Our final was, we had Care Bears, Inspector Gadget. Oh, Shaun the Sheep. Shaun the Sheep.
I'm not familiar with this one. I thought this was a Scottish thing when I heard sheep.
It's British. It's
Nick Park,
British
same
thing.
guy that did Wallace and Gromit. Remember Wallace
yeah.
and Gromit?
Yeah.
So
I didn't know the sheep had a spin-off.
Oh, Shaun the Sheep has had multiple spin-offs. I know about this because of my children. It's I think made him a lot more money than Wallace and Gromit, to be honest. I think, yeah, I don't know. I have to think of like.
I was thinking it was I was thinking it was more of a sheep watch. So like a Submariner No Date is like, just bear in mind the previous conversation.
I was thinking more like farm resistant, like
farm resistant. No, Panerai then. Panerai.
It all goes back to Panerai.
It all goes back. It's just, the meme. I'm gonna get my face put on that meme. Where he's all connected. It's just gonna be a big Panerai logo in the background.
Do you guys remember the Hublot Big Bang Alps? Google it.
Oh,
Google it.
Oh yeah.
Hublot Big. Let me go to the brand. Did we cover it?
I feel. You remember that Blanc Pan that looks like the Swatch version but isn't? I don't know why I feel like that fits here somewhere in this cartoony world.
Oh, right.
It's
okay.
a very cartoony watch.
You mean the Moon Swatch version of the Blanc Pan?
No, it's actually a Blanc Pan that looks like a Swatch.
Oh, right. Okay.
Blanc Pan price.
It's the wrong way around.
Hublot Alp. Let me see if we've covered it in the past.
I'm sure.
I'm just trying to see. Hublot Big Bang, Aspen. I can't see it very obviously on the website. If one of you gentlemen is able to find it, then that would be grand. So, what do we think for the most sheepish watch? Is it a sheepish farm watch? An outdoor watch? A woolly watch? Doesn't know what it is. It's a bit
Why
woolly.
are there no shearling watch straps? This seems like an untapped market.
Well, you get shearling as in
Hublot Big Bang Alps, Rick. Even if we did not cover it, just Google it.
To make your wrist
People
very
have
warm.
to see this stuff.
Big Bang Alps.
This is definitely a new keyboard.
Come on, yes. It's a bun strap.
I love
There
how
we
Hublot
go.
has been brought up all the time. It's a very
we need
diverse
this.
brand.
This is a Hublot and Panerai show. We've decided. This is from Europa Star. Hublot Big Bang. I'm in love.
Why was
I
this
love
trans-free living in
a
my
sheep-
mind? I don't know.
Sheepskin
It's the
bun
bun
strap.
boss.
Hublot.
Bun is
This is-
insane.
This is the boss watch.
I wore this watch. I don't know what happened. We took pictures of it. I specifically remember this being on my wrist at some point.
Right, okay. Well, maybe you took a picture of it. We're writing up the article, and then the internet just crashed. Like the WordPress site just decided, no, we're not letting you publish this. This is.
I was supposed to write this up, but then I threw up in my keyboard, and then I had to get a new computer.
That's why
by
you
the
need a
time I
click-
got back with my new computer, I stopped writing
This
about
does
it.
look like a fast-growing mold is growing under your wrist.
Yeah, it does look like a very fast-growing mold.
There's a
That's
men's
exactly
and it's the fact that there's two varieties. This is a 45mm for men and a 39 for women. The fact they made two different varieties of this watch, I love it though. This is seeing the list of watches that nobody else owns, the non-generic watch. This is the boss.
Imagine going through, being at home as a child, going through the drawers looking for something, and you find out that your parents own one of these. What that should comprehensively rewrite the concept that you have of your parents when you find this in a drawer. Like, what were they thinking when they want this? What is this?
They've got his and
And then
hers
you realize it's
varieties of them.
expensive too.
I think
How
these
expensive.
shearling boon straps need to make a comeback. Okay.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this. If somebody would like to make, if there's anybody out there listening would like to make, actually, the chances are I know someone that can make one of these because I'm playing for the sheer sheep. But yeah, if somebody like make one of these for my Panerai, then I'd wear this
They'll have to kill
woolly
2
bun
sheep
strap.
to make it for a Panerai. That's going to be an
Yeah,
absolutely massive strap.
You don't actually need to kill the sheep to get the wool off them. Just some
I think
farmer
these
input
ones-
here.
But are these like connected? Like, is this the actual skin there? How does that work?
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious as to what the strap is made of. Whether it is a sheepskin. I'm not sure how a sheep. I suppose you use it for jackets. I'm just not sure it would do very well. They've obviously had to reinforce the holes with rubber. I'm not sure how well it'll work as sheepskin.
You know, we're more excited if the animal
versus
died
the
for
wool.
it.
Yeah, it's
It's
more
not-
costly.
Yeah, it's not a Panerai strap if some living creature didn't meet its demise in order to make it.
There we go. So there's our collection. So whose turn is it? Who would like to select? I feel we need to return to Hungary somehow. So David, give us 3 random, maybe I don't know, extinct car brands or obscure European sports, like
Traditional
sports that
Hungarian
only.
food dishes.
Yeah, stuff that local customs, something we can be looking up. I think we should learn more about David's home country.
David looks so
Domestic
amused right now.
holidays.
Airports, watches that match airport vibes.
That's good. That's okay. We're
Okay.
getting somewhere.
Right. Okay. Then.
I also sent you a link on the studio chat as I was looking for the Hublot Alps watch, and I found something very different entirely.
Send something else, right? Okay, I'll try and find that. I can't see both the studio chat and Chrono 24. Oh dear. Oh my word. Oh my word.
That's
What is-
surprise? That's an
what is
incredible
this?
value proposition right there for a gem set Hublot. If you're interested,
Before I show this person, we don't think they're a war criminal, or do we know who this person
I mean,
is?
I
that's
don't- I
about to
didn't-
feature.
I don't
Right,
know
we'll
if
show
it's
it.
up.
If anyone can identify this individual, it's just in case he's a
It
war
says
criminal
it says
or
it in the
something.
description. It's Mr.
Does it?
Bongo.
Mr. Bong-
Mr. Bongo.
President Ali
President
Bongo,
Ali Bongo, is that a real
President
thing?
of Gabon. And
There
they
we
made
go, there we
70
go.
pieces.
According to
70.
Chrono 25, it is.
Look how pixelated. It's basically just like, oh,
Who is this watch meant for? And how much of it is aftermarket?
Mrs.
it looks like a
yeah.
lady's watch meant
That's.
for.
I hope that's not in a lady's arm. That's all I'm saying.
Just, I've never seen that bezel before.
That
I
looks
just-
like Ariel. That looks like your arm. Are you sure you've not the owner of this watch?
You think
That's
that's
a-
my arm?
That's a hair-clad arm, if ever there was one. Is that not
Well,
you?
thank you, sir. I appreciate you noticing.
Yeah, go check out the live images on
Oh
a
my
Vlog to
God.
Watch Weekly Live for the Ali. Is that what it is? The Ali Bongo watch.
Yes.
It's the
That
bust
sounds
of
like I'm
Bongo.
being
You want the
obs-
bust of
The
Bongo
bust of
and the mother
Bongo.
of pearl face with diamonds in probably
for
ladies'
$6,000. Now that
Mother of pearl
implies
too. It's a mother of pearl dial with a pixelated like cell phone, flip phone camera shot
insane.
image printed on it. It's kind of breathtaking when you just take it all in at once. It's
quartz.
amazing. Oh yes, quartz, diamond, mother of pearl, Hublot, Ali Bongo portrait on the dial.
I
all
want to
of
know who
these are
collects
trigger
these. I
words.
want to know who's like, oh my god, I need this.
Yeah.
There's some collector, there's the Rolex collectors who, collect like the Conchar dials and whatnot. There's definitely a Hublot
But I don't
collector
even
who's
think
got, like, all
Hublot
of
made
these.
it.
I would not be surprised if they did.
You could be right, but this looks. I mean, this is like potentially this is this pre Biver, right? This is way
Yeah.
before that. This
Either
is
that or
like-
this was the first watch he did.
Yeah,
Maybe that was it. Do you think you
was
could
a
submit?
It was a small payment under the table in exchange for this watch from Mr. Bongo that set the foundation for Hublot's finances. There's
Yeah,
probably some
probably.
myth associated with this, but look at the placement of everything.
the
This would be
bongo
a-
bang.
I mean, this would be a very weird Hublot dial. The bongo bang.
That's what we want back.
Bring back the bongo bang.
Go into your catalogue, Hublot, and bring back the bongo bang.
Move the big bongo.
You like to celebrate heritage, right?
Exactly. Hublot hasn't got any, but we've discovered it's got this. Oh, look at that. That's horrible.
This is it. Yes. Oh, The
This
craftsmanship.
Wow.
peak craftsmanship.
At first I thought it was a Roy Lichtenstein, but then
Just art.
Look at that happy face. My face is gonna blow up.
He's happy about it. He is happy about
my
it.
face is on the face. Great, right?
But how does this happen? This is being sold by a dealer. So at some point, somebody went into a dealer and sold them this in exchange for buying something else. Because there's no way a dealer saw this coming in and just thought, yeah, I'll buy that. How much do you think the dealer paid for it if he's selling it for
Nothing. This
$6,500?
watch was obviously
quartz.
pawned. Somebody was forced to wear this watch.
Probably nothing.
They were excited to pawn it, and then some dealer was like, "Oh, okay, whatever."
I've actually Googled. Let's just Google President Ali Bongo, just in case he did turn out to be a dictator and a war criminal. Oh yes, there we go. Oh, do you want to see what he actually looks like? Okay, this is President Ali Bongo.
Does he have diamonds around his face?
No, that's him there in 2022.
That's a more recent picture.
Yeah, it's a more recent picture
from like 30 years ago.
His face isn't made of full of dots. Where's all the little dots?
You know what this needs? This needs a Wikipedia entry for that watch in citations.
Wait,
so we've got early life
alive?
and career. Is he still alive? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
Okay, good. So he
if
can be the
somebody would
official
like to-
ambassador of the Bongo Bang.
He can be. He can attend the launch event of the recreation team.
That picture is identical to
this
one of
is-
those watch handovers. That could be their watch box.
That
between
could be
them.
there. Yeah. Meeting Hillary Clinton. Yeah, there's a meeting of giants, whoever there was. Right, third from the left with other state leaders. If somebody would like to go into Wikipedia and put an official entry in, other matters.
Yes.
I just really
and
want to go
reference that
to
watch.
used watch stores in Africa right now. I don't know why. This just seems like a very good idea.
I think that's a road trip I'm up for.
That's,
Where would you start? Marrakesh?
I don't know. It would just be like, do you have
Cairo?
watches with pictures of leaders on them? And that would be basically what we're looking for.
Okay, this sounds like a job for the chat, for someone to go and find all. This is an article, watches with watches just with like people's faces on them that they sold multiples of.
political
Next
leaders.
Matt Haranek book, A Man in His Watch, and it can just be all of these faces.
There we go, Matt. That's an idea for you.
A dictator on the wrist.
A dictator on the wrist. Anyway, right, Richard Potato. Right, let's say dictator. Right, let's talk some actual watches. I think we've gone on just about long enough on that, and we've still got this week's message from Chives to get through. But let's have a look at a watch. Ooh, let's have a look at this. This is from dictators to. Or if I can find from dictators to nuns. Yeah, there we go. Ariel Adams, watch through the Nun Origin Anti-Shock Crew. What do you make of this?
Well, this is an interesting brand, Noon, because it's based in Bahrain, and not a lot of watch brands are based out there, even though a lot of watches are from there. This brand sort of began as taking the shape of a Nautilus essentially, but making fun, inexpensive sport watches out of it, which has allowed them to sustain through a lot of models. And I think it's interesting that brands like this and others like D1 Milano and plenty of others that really began just kind of creating toy-like homages of popular ones, went a lot further. And Noon has done a lot of really weird stuff. So this one has sort of a new dial. Kind of funky sounding name, Anti-Shock Crew. That's kind of weird. But again, I like a lot of what the brand does. This is not particularly expensive. It's genuinely fun to wear. It's, sporty. It comes with 2 straps. I like what these types of companies do because they're not taking themselves too seriously and they're doing a lot of design experimentation.
There are some brands that seem to manage to copy a famous design like the Nautilus, like this is done, and get away with it without everyone going, this is just terrible, how very dare they? And then other brands that try this and you go no, what are you doing? What are you up to? why have none managed to get away with this? Is it just because it's $400? So
I
who
don't
really
think it's
cares?
price point. It's that they're not trying to. Well, some of their models stick from an aesthetic perspective pretty closely to it, but they also make these wild things that Patek would never in a million years create. And so I think that's where they kind of get a little bit more leeway and cut a little bit more slack here compared to another brand that would ape this Nautilus inspired case shape. If you're making the cheap version of the Nautilus that just looks like the Nautilus, that's basically an homage, but never in a million years would Patek make a carbon fiber cased quartz weird sandwich dial looking thing, let alone at like a few $100s. And I think that's why they're kind of given a pass in this instance, where we all know what it's a nod to, but at the same time, this is in no way the poor man's version of it. It's like the cartoon version of it. So it's like a totally different watch.
I want to say what Ripley said in a slightly different way. When you look at this, you don't confuse it for Patek Philippe. It's very clear that it's not. And even though there's a shared design element, you kind of forgive that because you recognize that design element is quickly becoming genericized. So I think that's really what it is. It's the idea that for the most part, when you look at these watches, you're not thinking they're trying to be Patek Philippe, because that's not what they're trying to do.
David, thoughts on this?
Not much. I quite like the overall. I like that it's funky and it's cool looking. It's a powerful and relatively exciting design. So I quite like that from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, these kind of bright ones, that for $300 versus a moon swatch that's colorful. I mean, this Mai Tai one, I quite like this. I think there's some funky fun to be had in this brand. But also, that's right.
Mai Tai.
Mai Tai. These are quite cool. I quite like these. Because I don't object to the Nautilus as a case shape. I actually find the Nautilus as a case shape worse on the actual Nautilus than I'm finding looking at this.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a 1-to-1.
No, it's actually slightly better in my opinion. But there we go. So, do you ever own one? Would you buy one? Is it a fun watch as a wee gift for someone? For example, me. Would you buy? Feeling generous?
You need a larger watch, sir.
Yeah, how
they're
big
not
are these?
46 millimeters.
No, that's true. That's really not worth it.
And they're not tractor resistant. Not yet.
Not tractor resistant. Right, David, you've had plenty of time to think of our references for next week. What are you picking?
I actually saw this suggestion on the chat that I really quite liked, which was watches
That
from
one?
defunct European car brands. Yeah,
I'm
because then
up
we would
for
have
that.
to look at defunct watch brands as well. So we have to pair.
Yes.
In
Oh,
my mind,
like that.
defunct watch
Yep.
brands with defunct car brands.
Okay,
That's cool.
so what are your choices of defunct car brands? Saab's a good one that was
Good
suggested in
number,
the chat.
Isaac. Shout out to you in the chat. What's that?
Yeah, so Saab, any other suggestions? Are we going with the suggestions in the chat? NSU,
I think
Simica?
Jaguar at this point.
Jaguar, okay, Jaguar. Yeah, I'm up for that. So Saab, Jaguar, and TVR. Is TVR defunct?
Yeah, TVR is
I don't-
kind of bold and interesting and defunct officially now. Yes, I think so.
Any others? Any others that take your fancy? Defunct car brands.
You count the British brands that are not owned by the British.
Well, none of them are owned by the British anymore, I don't think.
Right.
they're all-
So is that alive or dead? It's like half a dozen.
It's a Schrodinger's
There's
Oldsmobile.
Oldsmobile.
Well, that's not European.
Yeah, no, I was just googling, the recently defunct car brands.
I mean, you
Okay,
want to throw
apparently.
Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile's happy to be included in any list ever.
Okay, then we made
You want to talk about Oldsmobile? Sure.
the internet
okay.
remembers.
There we go. Saab, Jaguar, TVR, and a special mention for next week for Oldsmobile because I know nothing
Yeah.
about it.
By the way,
there we go.
one of the cars my father owned was an Oldsmobile, and it was a bad old Oldsmobile sedan. So I fully understand this category here.
Right, okay, so Ari was
Oldsmobile
careful
was
of
not
choice
a winner,
in this.
okay? And who wants to drive a car that has old and mobile in it?
It is a strange thing. Triumph and Spiker being suggested in the chat as well.
Oh,
I think there's,
Spiker died too? Wah, wah.
any number of chat. Well, next
that
week
Dutch?
you can all bring along your in the chat your watch brands to go with your defunct car brands.
But you have to marry a dead brand with a dead brand.
Yes, yes, you got to find a dead watch brand to go with a suitably dead car brand.
Except
now, Ariel,
Jaguar can be almost dead. It just needs to have got egg on its face recently.
I mean, we'll just combine it with Bremont. They've already worked together.
This is for next week. Let's.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Right, Ariel, David, you were in Glasshoot recently. This is the Glasshoot original 70s X chronograph Panda dial watch. Is this something you saw over there? Is this a new release?
Yeah, and it's also apparently 39% more. No, sorry, 10% more money. 15%. I'm losing it. 50%, right?
Is that what the right-hand dial is that just goes up depending what the tariff is? A tariff selector?
So this is sold exclusively in North America. I don't know why. It's a lovely watch. The 10 on there is for the 10th anniversary of the 70s chronograph. So they're celebrating themselves with a black and white dial. It's cool looking. I think this watch has aged very, very well. It was very weird when it came out. I think David remembers when it came out. It was like everyone's like with all the appeal of an old TV set. But I think that as square or more angular watches have been more popularized, this sort of rounded square is really, really nice. It's darn comfortable. There's no edges. There's no edges that you sort of run your fingers along that scrape, and it comes on a bracelet and a strap. The movement is extremely robust. It does a lot. It's got full 12 hours with a big date and a power reserve, and it's a flyback, and it's an automatic, and it's got just a lot of good, it's just a good, robust mechanism. So it's not that much more expensive today than I think when it originally came out. It's about $17,000 or $18,000. I think it was $12,000 or $13,000 when it first came out. David, maybe you remember.
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah, maybe even less.
I think that this is a strong choice. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, there isn't a lot in this category. I used to have certain types of Jaeger-LeCoultres and watches like that in this category, this price point. I don't know what else is competing with this. Most of the stuff seems to be a lot more expensive that has this sort of level of movement.
It is a surprisingly comfortable form of watch, the Glasshoot 70X. They're amazingly comfortable. You look at them and you think this is a huge watch, but actually they wear incredibly well.
Yeah, it's like a 40 millimeter square. It's not that big.
Yeah, $17,900 for a chronograph. It's square, big date. Where's the value in that?
Well, I think it has to go back to, this is a bespoke mechanism. Glasshoot Original has so many in-house made calibers, and they do a lot of their own machining and tool making. So it's just so many original parts in there. So it's really engineered for them. It's not like a group movement. It's just, there's a huge amount of passion just in the movement and its operation. So if you're like, if you're like into engines, right, and you're into car movements, car engines, watch movements, this is something that you'll appreciate on that level. It just works very well. It's for example, there's a lot of emphasis on making sure that on the big date, the discs are in the exact same plane. And it's very, very hard to do that, to make sure that they're exactly in the same plane, but they're still touching each other. The emphasis on creating that smaller hour counter, so you can have more of a compact, bi-compact style dial. Just a lot of intention, went into this. It's not for everyone, but again, it ages well over time. And in terms of unique chronographs like this, I think it's a funner chronograph to play with. You look at, I don't know. I mean, well, let's look next door. An Along and Zona chronograph is going to be far more expensive than this. A Vacheron chronograph will be more expensive than this. I don't even think Omega, maybe an Omega one will be cheaper than this, but again, Omega's positioned a little bit lower and is going to have more of an industrial end to it. I don't know. Go ahead.
This is a shockingly high number of bespoke and hand finished and beautifully decorated parts in it. So that's what makes it special, is that this is among the cheapest, relatively speaking. watches that you can get where a lot of work goes into the production by hand with through craftspeople, with the mirror polishing, with the anglage, with the beveling, with this and that, with the heat boot screws. So it's just a bunch of components thrown in there that they take a huge amount of time and effort to produce in their own way, which makes it much more bespoke than what we're, because I think we generally, people look at these watches and think that they are all made the same, which, well, a lot of the times they are very universal in the way that they just throw in machine made parts and then they give it a pretty shape and then they call it a different watch and maybe try and price it 50% over the competition. Whereas here, there's a huge amount of added value that is unique to not unique, but very, very special, even at this relatively higher price point. So that's very, very unique or very special.
Ripley, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's not cheap, but there's a lot that it does that isn't the same, like 7750 dressed up, or a bespoke movement that is basically doing the same thing as like a 7750 base. As Ariel mentioned, the double dates, having the little hour counter up there, the power reserve indicator, it's a different watch aside from its aesthetics. You're getting some other features. So there, as David mentioned, it's not like this is the same thing that you could get from this brand cheaper. There's a lot of unique things about it, things it does differently. And so if you like this vibe that it's putting out, the value proposition is there, because this isn't just the dressed up version of a watch that's made by another brand with a slightly different appearance. So, I've always kind of liked the look of these. They're comfortable, but it's a very nice watch in person, and it's a bit more of an informed choice. To circle back to our conversation at the beginning, this isn't necessarily the watch someone buys because Instagram told them it was hot, or because it's going to impress the average person who's just familiar with the brand's name. This is a more informed choice that someone buys because they like it, and in order to like it, you have to like the aesthetics, but you also probably have an appreciation for what goes into it from a mechanical perspective too.
Yeah.
It's to impress yourself, not others. That's the difference.
What watch do you and David that impresses you the most? You think nobody else appreciates this, but I appreciate this.
This is, I think, a prime example, or just about anything from this brand. But there's many others that are like that. Grand Seiko for a long time used to be like that. The Spring Drive was for a long time appreciated by just a very, very small group of people.
Cool.
So yeah, there's a long list.
Right. Well, while you get your Hitmas maybe lanyards, placards ready, we have more news from our man in the street, Chives, the watch butler. Dear sir, this is him writing to his employer. Dear sir, I hope this finds you well. Quick situation report is requested by text. Before I do, though, a troubling caller in white gloves from Dubai delivering a Daytona watch phone case. The retail price of $200,000. I don't know if you've seen this. We'll try and find this, but this is somebody selling Daytonas pre-built into watch phone cases called Caviar or something. Anyway, we'll try and find that. It was the work of a moment to Google the product, which looks like a whore's jewellery box. Let out a snort of disgust and release the hounds if we don't feed them for a couple of days. And everyone keeps their windows rolled up on the drive. The bodies will soon disappear. A meeting with the Fred Savage this week concerning his timepiece grading service. Again, Fred Savage news this week on timepiece grading. I don't know if you've seen that. He's just like he is in television, tiny with a gigantic head, but wearing a Daytona, very commonplace. The service itself is not a serious proposition, according to Chives. 3 months have passed since Watches and Wonders. Your Platinum Zenith 135 has been delivered. Put it in the ready safe in the dressing room. Your Lange Perpetual 607 is now slated for delivery in 2030. Apparently, Lange are swamped with warranty work at the moment. Perhaps more excitedly, after the disappointment of not being allocated a quadruple complication from Patek, there's an allocation of a Patek 6159. I have taken the liberty of accepting the offer of the small price of purchasing a pair of solid gold Cubitices. Don't worry, I've already consigned them to Chrono 31, your humble servant. Chives, and a quick PS, but I think it's Chives speaking to me. Panerai have released 2 new divers, one reassuringly expensive and something called Carbon Tech. They are, of course, ridiculous, and I would remind you of the terms of my employment. Any purchase of a Panerai with a bezel or a bracelet will result in my resignation. I think that's Chives threatening to leave his employment and threatening me. I don't employ him. Chives is his own man. He works for the man. Works for the man that he writes
it's
to.
Okay
right.
I'm confused.
What
right?
an impossible
okay.
fever dream of a report from the streets.
This
Like,
whole thing
what?
is just such a word salad.
There you go. Chives might be joining us live in the chat next week.
Did you buy 2
Cool.
gold cubituses?
I've not bought
Kubitai.
anything. This Kubitai. What is
How
the
did-
plural of cubituses?
Wait, but how did he know I did a podcast with Fred Savage?
He didn't
Or
know
did
it
Fred
after
Savage
that.
do something else?
Fred Savage has done something else. Let's actually find these. So Fred Savage is
'Cause
now.
the last week I did
right.
too. I was very
It's
Right,
actually
okay.
Fred
Have you
Savage.
recorded Fred Savage? It's like clapage Savage. He's launched a watch grading service.
Yeah, that's not
Have you
new.
not seen?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. Have you interviewed him about it, Ariel?
Yeah, it's not a bad
Yeah.
idea.
All right, okay.
It's
It
new.
looks like
He's not
it's-
admitting. It's not trying to say like, oh, it's super, big yet. He's doing it. It's literally
Chives-
him doing it. He like lives in Ohio and like goes to Stoll and is like, guys, let's do this.
Okay, well, there we go. Chives doesn't seem to appreciate it. Maybe it's just knocking in on his territory. He's the watch butler.
He's a bit oniony.
Yeah, he's the watch butler. He demands all this
What kind
all
are
this stuff
butlers
himself.
so curmudgeonly in your part of the world? I thought butlers supposed to be optimistic and
Only when you work for Rick, I think that's the messenger.
Yes, only curmudgeons are welcome. Right, let's play Hit Miss Maybe first up. Let's go to Bulgari or the Octoroma World Timer. Any experience with this watch, gentlemen?
The Roma, yes, not this exact version of it, but overall, yeah.
What do we think of the Roma versus the Octo Finissima? I feel the Roma's often left out of the conversation, but it actually wears quite nicely.
Well, that's what it was designed to do.
beautiful.
It was like, do you like the look of an Octa, but don't feel as comfortable? It presented the Octo Roma. They haven't marketed that message very well because they have to disparage one of their popular products to do so. I get that.
We make this wonderful watch, but it's in fact impossible to wear for any period of time because it's jaggy. There's this one instead.
This is actually one of the most impressive case designs because, they had to maintain that look, but, their designer who we've had on the show before, really also needed to make it ergonomic. This is not the first iteration of it, but it's got this stealthy sort of all black look. And, this is normally a 3-hand watch. This movement, I think that Bulgari, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't really have this in any other contemporary watch. So they were like, oh, we want a world time. Let's popularize the Roma. I just think it's difficult for people to wrap their minds around this. It's almost as though they've had to have a few octos and be like, oh, we want a different version of it. But this is really the type of watch that you want to put on. I like this watch because it reminds me of what I like best in Bulgari, which is practical watches that don't look like other watches. They have a cool, visually arresting design, but they're also highly pragmatic. That is not all Bulgari watches, but they can do that. They've done a lot in the past. So I think the Octo Roma is definitely worth people's look, especially if they're concerned about the wearability of the other Octo watches.
Yeah, I do often about World Timers wonder the locations they use in the World Time, what it says about the brand and the wearer. I'm not sure how many of these are standard destinations to put on a watch. South Georgia, for example, is that normally a -1? Cabo and Verde. Yeah, there's a few.
Roma instead of Paris. Of course it does.
Yes, which is quite cool. It is quite cool. St. Bart's. I think this is basically a sign of where Bulgari owners are stashing their money. Samoa and Anchorage. I don't even know where Nomu. How do you pronounce that? Next to Tokyo on the left-hand side at about between 9 and 10. Nomu? No, never heard of that. Between Sydney and Auckland.
Numea. That's well caught, Rick.
Nomia. I mean, this is. I think they're just
If you have a
inventing.
bad case of Nomia, then you don't have to.
You have to buy this watch. $10,000. It's priced well. What do we think? Is it a hit, a miss, or a maybe? 1, 2, 3, go. Hit, maybe, hit. No, David's swithering between a maybe and hit. David, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm rarely a fan of all black watches. Sometimes it's just off for me. But I put this watch on. I put a bunch of these different Romas on over the years, and they, whenever I put one of these on, I'm like, wow, this is just basically my perfect daily wear watch. I would just wear the crap out of these. So it's super comfy. If you think that the 70s is comfy, this is even more comfy. It's one of the comfiest most comfortable luxury watches out there today, which is high praise, but it's true. So I quite like these, but these really come alive when you put them on. It makes a huge difference.
They're incredibly comfy. Ripley, you gave it a maybe, I think.
It's a maybe. I mean, more on the hit side than a maybe. I, like David said, think it looks good. These are really comfortable. The Octo Finissimo just doesn't fit my smaller wrist, and I like the way it looks a lot. But if I had to choose a Bulgari, it'd probably be a Roma, just because it wears better. It's a little bit more versatile too. It's not so committal to the ultra flat type of vibe. The only reason I'm giving it a maybe is I kind of wish they incorporated a date at some point somewhere covertly on this, because it's a world timer. Those features kind of work together hand in hand. But again, I struggle to think of a place to put it that wouldn't ultimately detract from its design. So it's a hit mostly, but I do wish it had a date.
Is it the great unsaid thing that the Octo Finissimo is in fact a terrible watch? Because it fits nobody. It's lovely to look at, wants to be framed and hung on a wall, but no one should try and wear one because they don't fit anybody.
No, they fit some people. They do fit some people. It's just a very specific wrist shape. If you've got like a large wrist with like a flat top surface, it fits great. It just kind of hugs it like a cuff and the sides drape over. But if your wrist's too small, it obviously doesn't work. And if it's too round, that large flat plane of the case back doesn't sit right on it. So it's a little bit fickle, but there are some people that love it and wear it and it fits them like a glove. So you just kind of have to have the right wrist for it. And unfortunately, I don't.
The Finissimo fits my wrist really well, but so does the Roma.
Ariel, just all watches fit him. Everything. Everything suits Ariel. Ariel, what did you think of this?
By the way, that statement reminds me of watches I refused to review because the bracelets pulled my hair so badly I couldn't, in good faith, recommend them to anyone.
Oh, so worst hair pulling watch. I mean
there's so many.
Oh, what was the one I tried on recently?
It's not been a Bulgari.
No, it's not a Bulgari. Was it a Tissot?
So others in the LVMH group? I'm not sure.
Okay, so this one you would give a hit to, though?
It's not the type of watch that I'd like think about at night, but like if you wore it, you just realize it makes a lot of sense. It's very versatile. The strap makes it sort of easy to wear a lot of things, very sporty. The world time is an interesting complication because it's like when you don't need it, it's just sort of out of the way, right? Like you can still easily just read the time.
Good point.
And the Bulgari hands and face, they're bold enough that you don't look at this and get that tiny hands effect when you look at the Patek Philippe. You're like, oh, it's so cute and tiny. This one, it doesn't do that as much. And if you look at it, the designer, I'm guessing it's Fabrizio, he actually made the hands slightly longer than they should be proportionally. And they did that to sort of preserve an overall, a quality look. So I think there's a lot of little touches in here that I can appreciate. It's a lot more interesting than the standard 3-hand watch. And honestly, it is useful to sort of see the AM, PM or day night thing. So it's, again, I think it would sort of grow on you after you had it. You might not put a poster of it up on your wall, but I think it'd have a lot of staying power if I started wearing it. Have
you ever put a poster up on your wall of a watch?
I've thought about it. I have. I probably have.
Do they make? Actually, having said that, I've got posters of watches up on my wall. Now I think about it, just they're very arty. Yeah, so you don't really think about them as being
those things.
I'm just realizing. Actually, it's quite a common thing to put posters of watches up on your wall. Just thinking about it there.
I was like, why are you asking me this? They're everywhere.
They're all they're everywhere. Right, finally, this maybe hands-on Tag Heuer Aquaracer Professional 200 Solargraph watch with a new blue dial. Does this count as news that Tag Heuer have a Solargraph, but now with a new blue dial? Big fan of the Solargraph. Actually, a big fan of this Aquaracer. The titanium one is stunning. Never thought I would be a fan of Aquaracer because historically just didn't like them, but they're growing on me significantly. Not sure they're growing on me to going to get rid of my Panerai extent just yet. But gents, what's your first impressions of this? Does blue dial warrant any sort of newsworthiness, really?
Do you think there should be a watch called the Aqua Leisure?
And what would it consist of? What would be its key selling point? The Aqua Leisure?
Just a lot slower, whole lot slower.
Just the lazy river timer,
like 1 hertz. You remember the what was it, the Martin Braun and 1 hertz watch?
Yeah, the review. Yeah,
just make a water resistant version of that.
Just ticks really slowly.
The opposite of a highly practical solar powered quartz watch. Total opposite.
You fans of the Solargraph?
Yeah, it's like, here's the thing. You get a little bit of luxury. Well, it is luxury price. So you have like, oh yeah, Tag Heuer, that's a fancy brand. But all the practicality of a beater watch. Lightweight, titanium, solar, easy to read. And I think we really like it when those sort of name luxury brands end up making things that are incredibly practical. Those end up selling pretty well. And I think that's the success. And similar, actually, this is even more successful, but similar to how the Breitling, Endurance Pro did well because it tried to be sort of a much more practical thing. This does that even better.
Would more of these be sold if it didn't say Tag Heuer on the dial?
Would more be sold?
Yeah, so where does Tag Heuer sit currently in people's thinking about whether it's a desirable brand? Is Formula One and all of that helping? Yeah, you think? The only thing that kind of puts me off is it says Tag Heuer. I don't know why. It might be a UK thing that Tag Heuer are probably the lowest grade luxury watch because they're everywhere. I don't know whether there is generically sold everywhere in America, but most stores, even the low-range jewelry stores, a number of them will have Tag Heuer concessions of one form or another.
I know what you need. You need the Aquaracer Pro, that one that's like much bigger. This is obviously too small and practical.
Too small. Yeah, that must be.
No, I know that thing with the gaudy orange dial.
Yeah, I know exactly the one.
Tag's the right grade of brand to have their name on a watch like this. At the end of the day, this, like Ariel said, it's a little bit of luxury, but this is not like a high horology creation. This is a titanium watch, rather Spartan, sandblasted finishing, quartz Le Joux Perret movement, aka like a fancy Citizen Eco Drive. And so what this really is like a kind of luxury version for the person who would otherwise just get like an Eco Drive diver or something, but want something a little bit nicer and a little bit higher end. You wouldn't want like Blancpain's name on the dial of this. At that point, you don't want a quartz watch from them at all. You want something that is definitely more luxury. So I think Tag's about right here. You could do the Tags, the Tudors, the Breitlings, but once you start getting, I think, above Rolex, people are going to become a little bit more price sensitive. And the whole point of this watch is to kind of have that practical, rugged thing that you don't need to be precious about. And that just doesn't work if it's $10,000 or more.
What is Tag's marketing situation in the likes of Hungary or the States? As I say, it's a very generic, everywhere luxury Swiss brand in the UK. Does it have that kind of positioning in the US?
You probably see more advertising. I mean, they are an Blog to Watch client, and so they work with us. I wouldn't say that we see as much in-person advertising, but I don't think it's as it doesn't have the same reputation in the United States as it does in the UK. Because I know what you're saying, but it's quite different here.
Right. Okay. What about Hungary, David? Is it everywhere? I mean, it's not everywhere here in terms of advertising. It's just in every shop, or it feels like it's in every shop window, as does Breitling historically. There was always lots of Breitling sellers in the UK.
It's on a lot of people's wrists. It's very popular in terms of value proposition. People, are attracted to it. when they enter the world of luxury watches. So it's extremely popular. I can
Hmm.
go out for dinner with like I don't know with 10 people, and sometimes six of them have a higher O2 or O1 or whatever it is,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something from type. So it's even more common now than Omega. Omega used to be hugely popular here, but now it's more Tag Heuer for some reason.
Oh, no,
Omega probably priced
yeah.
itself out.
Yeah, far and away of any, if I think of a group of people I would come across who aren't into watches but own a watch, either they got it for a birthday present or a graduation or something, vast majority of them are Tag Heuers. It's just the brand.
I love
that you buy
how
over
if
here.
a brand is too popular, it's bad for you, and if it's not popular enough, it's bad for you.
It's just got to be the go-to. It's got to be right. It's just got to be
the
like
right amount of in your face for Tag Heuer, huh?
Panerai. Panerai is the right amount of in your face that Tag Heuer need to. It just needs to be clasp on the side. It's sorted.
So they just
Anyway,
triple their prices, and you're happy.
Triple the size. Triple the size is what
triple
they
the
need.
size, half the water resistance. Sorted.
Triple the orange.
Right. Hit,
4
miss, or
times the
maybe.
service intervals.
It's a hit from me. Was it from you guys? Maybe from Ripley. Hit from Ariel, and David is swithering again. David, why are you swithering?
It's quite expensive for what it is, and it's a sourced movement, and I know it
3,300.
works well and all the rest of it, but it's I'm on the fence about it. I like the design. I know that the functionality is there, and I know that people freaking love these things. So so yeah, it's very popular already, but it's quite pricey for over 3K.
Okay. I mean, used market, these are an absolute steal. Ripley.
I said it's a maybe. There's nothing. The watch itself is a hit. Why it's a maybe is just the choice in dial color. The first one that was like gray with the ice blue was just too reminiscent of the Yachtmaster. Creating a blue dial version isn't necessarily the color palette inspiration that is going to make it feel more original. It's not a bad looking watch by any respect. I think it's a pretty good looking blue dial, but this is such a kind of blank template that you could go in a billion different directions. And I wish that either they made more of them so this could exist among some more daring options, or that they had just gone a little bit of a different direction so it just felt a little bit more unique.
And finally, Ariel.
I mean, $3,000 is not as expensive these days as it may have felt several years ago. And I agree with David that, given historically what you got for $3,000, this seems like it should have been charged less. But again, the prices are changing these days, and I think that we need to sort of adjust our expectations accordingly. I always have a soft spot for watches like this because, again, they're tool watches at the end of the day, and it could say Tag Heuer, it could be luxury, not luxury. This is a tool watch, and I love tool watches. I think Solar is finally about to have its moment. This is not just them taking a Citizen Eco Drive and putting it in here. It's a fundamentally different system, even though it is engineered by Citizen through their company Le Jouperet in Switzerland. It's a more robust system. It's got more battery life. It'll charge faster. So it's not really accurate to claim that it is just an expensive Eco Drive. And if it was, that's fine. Eco Drive is great. And I think it's a lot more, European design would make solar power watches look even nicer. So I think that we all like the practicality, and we should support this segment. I think that it's not a very competitive space. There's not a lot of luxury solar powered watches right now. So Tag Heuer didn't really know what to charge. I think if there's more stuff like this, prices will actually naturally stabilize down a little bit more. And I think that that's what we should all be looking forward to.
Now, we haven't had that sound effect from David for quite a while. There was a period of time in recording about 100 episodes ago where we had permanent police sirens in the background. I'm harkening back to the olden days when you lived in, whether it was Diplomat Row. There we go. Grand. Well, thank you for that. I am curious, I have one question left just for you, David. David, have you been at concert or something? I know you've not got anything on the wrist, but you appear to have tags on the other wrist. Have you been partying somewhere in a nightclub? Or
no, not at all. I was at a car event, so that's what those are from.
Not right, okay. Concert. Favorite car you saw at your car event? Was it old cars, new cars?
New cars. I like all kinds of cars as long as they're fast and loud. So I'm very easy.
That's right. Excellent. And what is on the desk today, watch-wise? Because we haven't done that.
Actually, nothing.
Nothing.
I don't know, I don't
There is nothing in the room. The room is bare.
It's a watch-free room.
Ripley,
As
what
can
are
see,
you
I'm
wearing?
renovating a little bit, so it's actually the whole room is quite empty. So I have a good excuse.
It's okay. I have enough watches for me and David both. Got a G-Shock on my desk, and I'm wearing the new Certina DSX GMT.
Very nice. And the Hatage?
Hatage is from Veyer, and the shirt is the Genta bezel, the printed version in kind of a gray or brown taupe on black.
Taupe. Cool. Ariel, what's on the wrist?
I'm actually wearing 2 solar-powered watches, ironically.
Oh, very good.
So I've got the re-release or the new Casio
Yeah.
Tron, and
Cool.
then this is the
Ooh.
Nipro Solar. So it's
Okay.
it's like an LED. Oh gosh. So this is
Oh,
the
right,
solar
yeah, an
panel
LED.
here, and the other's LED. So
All right.
yeah,
Cool.
not that there's any
Excellent.
sunlight in here.
Yeah, I mean, solar. When you said that you thought that solar watches will have their day, in Scotland it literally is that they will have a day once a year where they work a day. It will be probably the 17th of April, and then that will be it. You'll have to wind them up or put them under a
Wait for
lamp
the
or something.
powered
Well,
watches.
and then that
Yeah,
might be a reason to get
moon-powered.
the tag. If I'm not mistaken, as Ariel mentioned, the LJP version of the solar movement has a longer power reserve. If I'm not mistaken, this goes over a year. So if you only get a day,
Once a year.
yeah, if as long as
you can
fully
charge it on your
charge.
vacation.
Yeah,
When I come to America to laugh at all the watch prices.
Go on your annual vacation and you charge your freaking watches to sunlight.
why
funny.
have you come to Hawaii this year, Mr. Atkins? Well, it's because I need to charge my watch. Right, okay. On that note, thank you, gents, for joining in. Thank you, everyone, for the chat for joining in. You can check out the show on YouTube and watch it being recorded live. Oh, Ariel's also seems to be wearing a nice Ulysses Nardan t-shirt, is he?
Oh yeah.
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 Very nice. All the brands. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Oh,
So you can tune into the show live recording on Tuesday morning around about 7:30 on a Blog to Watch Weekly Live. You can get the edited show on all your podcasters of choice or on the main Blog to Watch YouTube channel, normally a Thursday or a Friday. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen, all in the chat, and we will see you again in a week or so's time. If you go to the Blog to Watch Weekly Live channel, there's just a little bit extra and a little bit early on as well, so you get a bit more show for your money. No, you don't pay us anything, but anyway, you get a bit more show.
You're getting paid for this?
Yes, is anybody getting paid for this? Right. See you all later. Bye.
Bye everyone.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cool. So I think the chat appears to have gone quiet. I think everyone's gone off to work. What are you guys working on today?
Survival.
this review.
Survival. This
Survival
review.
watches.
Cool. Survive. Are you redecorating, David?
Yeah, a little bit. So it's a watch-free zone at the moment.
You want some watch posters?
Not to break anything.
see
We
is
sell
that a
amazing
Bulgari book?
posters. Yeah, I reviewed it on the Blog to Watch. You
It's
can
got-
find it.
I was going to say you've got one watch thing in the background, and it's a Bulgari book standing precariously
Yeah.
upright. That's quite well positioned. I'm impressed. That's good. That's good.
Look at this.
That's a chunker.
Oh, wow.
That's quite a chunky. That's quite a chunky book. Yeah.
Stuff
well-
with little booklets of the
Got
manufacturer.
a
but I
jacket made of
apparently hid it
solid
there
oak.
for future reading. It's about the Manufacture de la Horlogerie. There's habillage, and then there's more. Horlogerie.
And
So I want to know who is ever going to come and read the contents of our watch book libraries. I have one. I imagine all of us to some degree have. I have a room. I don't say it's full of watch books, but it's got, I don't know, 100 or something like that.
really,
I'm definitely not going to read them.
Mhm.
Not because there's anything wrong with them, but well, some of them suck. But there's some very dense ones of information.
the worst watch
There's
book.
some awful books that I was given.
Ah.
Awful.
Oh, yeah.
Awful. David knows what I'm talking about. Oh God, they're bad. But the good ones have great information. I got the George Daniels one, but I'm never gonna,
Has anyone
necessarily
read?
that?
I think the George Daniels book is like the Brief History of Time book from back in the 90s. Everybody owns it. that's into it, but no one's ever actually read the George.
I actually read it.
You've read and gone through the signs and the cosines and the.
I didn't know what I was looking at, but as a 13-year-old, I did look at it. Yeah.
Cool.
And then I re-listened to it as an audiobook later.
Right, okay. How do they do mathematical equations as an audiobook? There we go.
They literally just talk about them. And I just ignore it because I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, cool. All right. Favorite watch book, and then we'll go.
Ariel's G-Shock book.
He never sent me a copy.
It's
I
one of the.
have a copy to send.
I kind of cycle them out on the coffee table, and it's one of the few that like most people gravitate towards. Some of these like people haven't heard of Virage or a whole book dedicated to the Reverso. You know, that's you must really like the Reverso if you're going to go put like 3 inches into the Reverso. But the G-Shock book, everyone knows or has heard of G-Shock, and it's a really I see more people looking at that than pretty much any other one.
Yeah, that was a good project.
David, favorite watch book?
I quite like this one, to be honest. That's why it's on the shelf, because it's beautiful.
It's the only thing in the room.
It really is a fantastic.
It makes the room.
I do have some other stuff laying around. There's a huge, maybe a 8-pound Omega book somewhere in there, and a bunch of others up there. So yeah, there's no shortage of books, but I'm not.
Someone come. I just want to have someone sitting in my room with the books, and just every time I go in there reading something, like, oh, I got some details for you that you might have missed, because there's got to be good stuff in there.
You know, there's like kind of Architecture Digest YouTube videos, or where the folk come and tour your house and put on. I think I should come to your house, Eric, and we'll tour your library of watch books, and we'll just have a nice civilized recording, a chat. Going through it, we'll actually look at any watches as such. We'll just look at the books about the watches. I think there's a.
We got content for years, folks.
We've got content for you.
As long as they're books about watches, I'm okay. What confuses me is when the watch brands give us books that aren't about watches.
Okay. Who's guilty of that?
I've got one here.
Ripley's on a roll.
I remember the weirdest one. I think it was Gerard Perregaux for like a hot second. Had an ambassador who was like a tightrope walker, and he wrote a book about tightrope walking, and I had this tightrope walking. What's that one? Really?
Interior decorating.
Okay, we're gonna guess the brand, right? Guess the brand.
Livable Lux.
I can't see the book.
That's
livable. I just see livable.
That's all it says. Livable Lux.
Ooh.
Okay. I don't know. GLC.
I don't know, Chopard maybe, or like a Van Cleef, or like
Okay, who is it?
I honestly don't recall. I just remember getting it home from an event and going like, what? It wasn't Panerai. I would have thought it would have made sense for Panerai because they were the official timekeeper of the interior design show or whatever that is.
Is there a note on the first page or something?
No, I just checked. I was hoping it would be like, thank you for attending our event. There's nothing.
I think I showed you.
Just a bunch of blank pages.
They needed something to go in the gift bags. They found a box of these in the basement of the event venue. And
good. People love it.
Yeah, bear in mind. So this was the most.
Houses, right?
Is there a lux that's unlivable? That's pretty bad looks if it's unlivable. So you're supposed to find all kinds of lux livable. What the hell? This is
we call that lethal luxury.
Oh God, what is this, Rick?
This is Panerai's press photo for the launch of the Luna Rosso. A guy playing marbles.
Does that have something to do with boat racing?
I have no idea what it's got to do with somebody.
It's a developmentally disabled person trying to make sense of life.
Don't say that about Panerai wearers. Anyway, right.
You see that person at the music festival?
He has no idea he's wearing a Panerai. Someone just dropped something out and be like, hold still, we're going to take a picture now.
Cool. Right, that's our show for this week. Thank you all very much for joining us. We'll see you again in a week or so's time. Tatty bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.